If at all you would like a break at
Yes.
any time, please
Yes.
let me know.
Yes.
So prior to the break, we talked about your first arrest in 1995. We also talked about the circumstances surrounding the late Data Haidara and his death. I would now like to move on to your multiple arrests in 2009. Do you recall publishing an article in The Point concerning a Gambian diplomat who was arrested?
Yes, it was on the 2nd February 2009 that we published story concerning Gambian diplomat arrested by the name of Lamin Sanyang. It was 2nd February 2009, and when the publication was out, I was arrested as a publisher.
Did that publication note who the author was, the author of the article?
Yeah, there was no byline. There was not no author. It was why, since I was the publisher, the police arrested me, asking me, one, who is the author, two, what is the source, and I declined the comment.
Can you tell us the circumstances of the arrest? Who arrested you and where were you arrested?
It was the police. I was called by the serious crime, by Commissioner Cisse, to come to the police. So when I came around in the afternoon, they showed me the publication. First, they asked me, who is the author? I said, before you ask me the author, what happened to this? What happened to the story? Mr. Cisse said, well, we want to know who is the author, is why that before we go further. I said, well, as the publisher, I cannot disclose you the author. So I'm going to take the responsibility. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Were you the only one that was arrested in connection to the publication?
Yes.
And how much time did you spend at the police station?
I was there around 12 to around 11 p.m. That time they wanted to detain me till the following day. But thanks to intervention of some people, like Turo Dabo, who came to see the IGP, the then IGP, Ensa Baji, Ensa Jesus, asked him not to put me in cell because of my health condition. After arguing bitterly, he went to former Minister Usman Sonkol, now at large, to ask them not to put me in the cell because of my health condition. After a second thought, they granted me bail that night. Our then president, Daitafa Sose, came to sign the bail, and I was released that night. So the following day, when I came on the 3rd February, I was charged and brought to Kanifing Court.
You mentioned Commissioner Cisse. Do you recall his first name?
You know, the police, they usually call them in their family name, is why.
That's perfectly fine. You said that you were released on bail that same day.
That night.
That night. Did you say that the questioning lasted from 12 to 11 p.m.?
When
or
they
your
first
detention?
arrested me, I asked them to get one of my lawyers to come. But that time they said no. They insisted me to write a statement. After some consideration, I said to myself, not to waste time, since I took the responsibility, let me write the statement, acknowledging that I'm the co-publisher of The Point, acknowledging that I am going to take the full responsibility of the story. I know very well the reporter, but I want to protect the reporter. So it's why I said not necessary to bring the reporter alone. Let me take the responsibility as a co-publisher.
And were you there from 12 noon until 11 p.m.? Or?
Yes, 11.
So for 11 hours?
Yes. But on my side, you have some of my staff and also Ndaitafa, who was our president then.
These are individuals who came to offer you support?
Yes, of course, they came.
So you said
but they were not allowed to enter in the room where I was interrogated.
You said that you were charged the next day, and the charge was what exactly?
False publication.
And did they tell you what aspect of the publication was considered false?
Well, for me, it was funny. In a sense, when I said that a Gambian diplomat arrested at the police, transferred to NIA, they said, no, I'm not right, because I said the guy is at NIA, is not at the NIA. I said, where is the guy? No, I'm sorry. I said the guy has been remanded to Mile 2. I'm sorry. I said the guy has been remanded to Mile 2. They said to me, no, he's at NIA. I said, well, I cannot dispute to you because you are the authorities. But I'm sure if you go to prison, they have a diary. When somebody is remanded or somebody is jailed, they have it in their diary. So they insisted. They said, no, I know. They said, one aspect you are right. The man is arrested for 3 weeks. You are right for that portion. But to say that he's at Mile 2, that is wrong. Is wrong. I said, what is the difference? Arrest is arrest. And NIA, police, Mile 2, you are the one who arrests people. It's up to you. But our source said Lamin is at Mile 2. They said, well, it's false. We are going to charge you. And after bitter argument also, when I was brought to court, my lawyers came and argued about the problem. My lawyers were Antuman Gay, Awasise Sabali, Mumudu Musa Drame, Haju Gay, all, they came in full force to try to defend me. But afterwards, they try to continue.
So essentially, this false publication charge was based on the fact that you said he was remanded at Mile 2 instead of the NIA.
Yes.
That is it.
Yes, that was only that aspect. I said, well, arrest is arrest. But they said, no, you cannot distinguish the two institutions. He's not at Mile 2. I said, well, my source is right. Our source is right. So really, it was why we publish it. And I take the full responsibility for the publication. I will not divulge the name of my reporter. I will protect my reporter. I will protect my source.
So what was the outcome of that case?
That case, I was, thank God, 3 months after, Lamin wrote an apology letter to the president. And it was broadcast on GRTS. So since he recognized that he misused the funds, he was arrested, he thanked the president, he's appealing to the president. So with all these facts, I went to my lawyers, give them every one of them photocopy, because it was published in the Daily Observer. So we got the opportunity to. So afterwards, they dropped the charges. My lawyers agree that since the man found himself guilty, and he apologized to the president, and he recognized that he misused the funds, either NIA or police or Mile 2. So the facts of the matter will not carry the case. So they dropped the case.
And by Lamin, you're referring to Lamin Sanyang, the Gambian diplomat who was arrested?
Yes.
During the 11 hours that you spent in police custody, can you tell us how the police treated you, apart from the questioning?
To be honest with you, I was not maltreated. You know, I was lucky with the security people in one aspect. Most of them, they take me as their star in football commentary. So it was why some of them, they have the sympathy, the love for me. Whenever, even they have been instructed to do harm to me, they will not, but they will pretend.
What do you mean by they would pretend?
Well, if at all their bosses will tell them, pin him down or do something, they will not act like that. It was why I said I was lucky not to be tortured, but mentally tortured.
During that time, did they provide you with food to eat? Were you given access to a lawyer during that detention, prior to the actual charge?
I was allowed to take my own food because the police will not provide you food, but my family brought me food. And I was able to contact my lawyers, as I said, my team of lawyers, to defend me in that aspect.
So after the charges, the case was dismissed. Were you arrested after that? Were you arrested again?
You know, even that case, before I will come to the next arrest, even that case was going on up to September. There was another case of the sedition cases with GP officials together with me when we are charged, June 15, 2009. I was arrested, let me come to your question. March 2nd, 2009, I was arrested in connection with my nationality again because they said I got false documents, and this time around they charged me for that, for obtaining Gambian documents without any proof document. So I was charged for that.
So essentially you had two cases going on at the same time?
I think it was even three.
It later became three cases.
Yes.
So let's focus on the second case regarding
the nationality.
The
nationality, my lawyers also, the same lawyers as I said, they took the matter. Again, I brought my passport, my dad's passport, the title deed of 42 Gloucester. I went to BCC to have all the receipts of 42 Gloucester to testify and to justify my citizenship. When I went to the police with all those documents, and Sabaji told them, this man, you must make sure that he will be jailed because we know that he naturalized and the case should be on. The case should be on. And that time I heard from good source, he called the main witnesses, like Dawda Lee, Health Department, who was in charge for the birth certificate, Ibrahim Korea, immigration officer, who is charged for the aliens. We call them that the president has a special ambition about this case because PAP is not a Gambian. PAP is tarnishing the name of the country. He's connecting with the West. So here are the two key people. You make sure that when you will testify is against him. So both of them, they were not together in the meeting, but according to my source, police sources, one by one, Dawda Lee told them in the Birth Certificate Act, even late registration is allowed if there's a proof that the person was born in this country. And in the case of PAP, we realized that the father is Gambian, the mother is Senegalese, and he was born 42 Gloucester Street. So it was why in 69 he got his his birth certificate. Then when he went, I understand also they called Ibrahim Korea of immigration. They asked him the same question, make sure that Pap is hooked. Make sure Pap is hooked. Korea said to them, as a Muslim, I cannot go to court, according to my source. I cannot go tell lies. Because Pap, the father is Gambian, and some people whom we made investigations have testified that Pap is Gambian. So why we bother about this, sir? He said, well, it's your business. All of you, if Pap will be freed, all of you will be sacked, all of you will face the consequences. But thank God, when we went to court, with the good job of my lawyers, with the valid documents and everything, after 3 months trial, I was acquitted and discharged June 15. The same day, June 15, after celebrating the acquittal, going to the point, reaching Denton Bridge, I received a call from my news editor.
Sorry, Mr. Saine.
Yes?
Sorry to interrupt you. Before we go to that particular arrest, I just want to ask a few questions on the second case regarding your passport.
Yes.
Initially, in 1995, the
Yes.
police had conducted investigations into your nationality.
Yes.
Weren't those records available at the time? Because they investigated again to charge you.
95, I didn't go to court with the authorities, but 2009, they said I must go to court.
But the police had conducted investigations in 95.
95, with the then Minister of Interior, Lamin Kababajo, immigration officials, Mr. Balde, who was the director, and Naisise, who was the assistant, all after their investigation, and people testify that I'm a citizen. Bajo said he will go to State House to explain to the president, so I should come the next day. When I came, he said, you are okay, let me give you back your passport, let me give you back the passport of your dad. It was in 95, no court. But 2009, Esa Baji has a special hatred on me. I don't know why. Because court upon court, arrest against arrest. And he promised the authorities he will make sure that I will leave the job, I will not here and nowhere. Because from good source, from his close aid, I was informed.
So I'm trying to understand their determination in 2009 to actually proceed and take the matter to court. At that time, were you also a correspondent for Reuters whilst
Yes.
also doing
Yes.
your work at the point?
Yeah, Reuters and RSF. You know, RSF, they are in charge for press freedom. It's an international organization based in France, but with 180 countries who are members. Gambia is among. So I'm their correspondent. Every time I put an update, every month I put an update about the press situation in the Gambia. If a journalist is arrested, if a journalist is sick, if a journalist has a problem, every time I used to send them report, an update of the. For Reuters, as I said, I work for them since '76 up to now. So for them, it was alarming to portray every time certain stories which they were not comfortable, because Reuters is worldwide. It's used by all the radio stations, television, CNN, BBC, Al Jazeera, all. So they don't want I will report for Reuters. It was why even I came to conclusion with Reuters not to put my byline to protect me, because if so, I can have problem.
Did you suspect that the authorities knew that you were in connection, working with Reuters as well as RSF? Did you suspect that they knew that at the time?
Yes, they knew. They knew that I work for Reuters, but certain times I was advised whenever I report not to put my name. I also told Reuters to protect me in that angle, and they agree. Because for years, they knew that time the situation of the country. They want news, credible news, accurate news, and they depended on me. So it was why they agree with me to write this story, because sometimes you give them facts and story. They rewrite, put certain background which the authorities are not pleased. So I have so many questioning at NIA. They ask me many times. They ask me why you put it. Sometimes when they ask me, I said, "Do you see my name there?" They said no. They said now go, because legally, if my name is there, they can hook me. But I was wise to protect my source.
But they still suspected it was you. They just didn't have any
Yes,
evidence.
to question me how they come. I said, well, I don't know.
So when you were arrested for obtaining a false passport, when your nationality was questioned, were you detained at the police station in 2009?
Yes.
For how long?
I was detained from the morning till evening. For example, I come 8:30. They will release me until after 6 days. It was 2 days.
It was 2 days?
Yes, but then after I was charged. So when I was charged, they brought me to Banjul magistrate. So I called my lawyers, give them all the aspects, but thank God I had the feedback. Whenever there's something harmful, I have sources who alert me. So when I was alerted, I make sure my lawyers have all the necessary feedback and the documents available, and they submitted no case to answer. Again, I won the case, and it was June 15, 2009, the same day that I celebrating my victory. On my way, I got a call from my news editor who told me a group of people identified themselves as NIA, said they want to talk to you. I said, for what? They said, well, they were here, now they left the office. They said, if you can possibly go to NIA, they have urgent message for you. So I went to NIA. They said, Pap, you are arrested. I said, arrested for what? I was just acquitted and discharged. I said, no, this is another case. They said, which case? The publication of today, June 15, about GPU, about data Idara. So you have been arrested, you come. So who's the editor? I said, I'm the managing editor, but I have a news editor. They said, well, we want his name, to call him to come, to report. They called Ibrahim Sawane. I said also, Pamudu Fall was among the editorial team, the second editor. So they said, well, let him come. He's also a member of GPU, so he must come to answer our investigation. I said, well, you are welcome. Up to in the evening, they called Samsar, they called Emil, they called Sarata Jabi, and the photographer Seydi Khan also was there, Emil Touré, all of them. They said, this is a work of GPU, Foria, and The Point. All of you, you have been arrested, and you have questions to answer. They call us one by one to go in a room for interrogation. And they said, you made allegation that the president is the president who killed Data Idara? I said, no. He said, no, when you read the paper, it seems that you are making allegation. I said to the guy, you said, it seems. So it seems. What is it seems? come directly to tell me, because when you say that it seems, then I'm glad, because you are not sure. So tell me the truth. I told the guy, you make this statement, how come out, how you come, you have this story, and also tell me who is behind about this story. And said, it's a press release from the Gambia Press Union, signed by our president, Daitafa. And they asked me, where is Daitafa? I said, well, I don't know where she is, but she's out of the country. And after, they call us one by one. Some of us willing to write statements. Some of us, like Samsat, say no. They are not going to write a statement.
Do you recall the names of any of the NIA officials who were questioning you?
There were many. It was a panel. It was a panel.
Do you remember any of their names?
I have more job. And
would that be Alaji Morjo?
Yes. There was a lady, late, I think it's Safin Jai, a lady. And also, there were quite few of them. I cannot remember all of them. Facially, I know them, but I cannot identify their names.
And as far as you could tell, was it only a panel of NIA officials, or were there other security forces involved?
Maybe, because you cannot tell.
They weren't in uniforms?
No. We were there for 4 days at the NIA. So they were not allow us to have food. But if we can smuggle to get our own food, yes. But food, not from our family members, no.
You said you were there for 4 days. Do you remember what day the 15th of June 2009 was? What day of the week?
June 15, oh?
What day of the week it was?
June 15 was Monday.
Monday. And when did you leave the NIA premises?
It was on the 19th Thursday. We went to Kanifing Court.
Okay, so focusing on that period from Monday to Thursday at the NIA, you told us that you did not have access to food from your family members.
Yes.
Did your family members know where you were?
Yes.
How did they know that?
Well, for me, I was, my father's compound is not far from NIA, Gloucester and GPMB. So I had the opportunity to know one or two who work for NIA, and one of them not far from the house, to inform the public. And secondly, it was worldwide broadcast, our arrest, all of it. It was worldwide. All the radio stations, all newspapers in the world, they said 7 Gambian journalists arrested. It was a big publicity, especially my agency, Reuters. They hit it hard. They hit it hard.
Were you allowed any visits during those 4 days?
No.
What about, in terms of the conditions of your detention, where were you kept? Where were you sleeping, for instance?
Not in the cells, no. Open room, but during night time with the mosquitoes, I myself, I think Pamodu or Sawane, we went at the gate entrance. There's a reception. We used to spend the night, but without sleeping, because any noise, we said the junglers are coming. Even the mosquitoes, they disturb us. With the trauma, you cannot sleep. You have the mosquitoes. When you hear noise, you think they are coming for you. So that was that trauma that really you cannot imagine to waste time to sleep. You cannot sleep because you think it's after hours. They will come to you every time.
And that was the situation that you were in for 3 nights?
Yes. And also without taking baths also. For me. I don't have the opportunity to take baths.
Is there a reason why? Did they give you access to take showers?
For me, no. For me, I didn't take baths. They didn't give me food. Only to smuggle some people to smuggle you some food or go to the next shop not far from NIA to have bread and put some butter.
And during those 4 days, how many times did they question you?
I think 2 or 3 times every day. Yes, every time. But separately. We are in group, but separately.
And the questions that you were asked, were there more of the same questions, or did the questions change as time went on?
Time to time it changed, and also they asked me to open my email, to give them my email addresses, which I did.
Did you do that willingly?
Yes, I was forced to open my email, and also my phones. They wanted to track some numbers. But for me, fortunately, I didn't bring my phones.
So what they did was to open your emails and they went through your communications?
Yes.
During those 4 days, were you given access to a lawyer?
No.
And during those 4 days, you told us that you were concerned about the junglers perhaps coming to torture you, but that didn't happen.
No, I didn't tell them, but among ourselves, I discussed it with Pamodu, I discussed it with Saine. Even Saine, when I want to have a snap, he said, Pap, wake up, be alert, anything can happen.
So when you tried to take a nap, even that you couldn't do?
I cannot take a nap because of the mosquitoes. I cannot take a nap because any noise, I think the junglers are coming. You know, the NIA is not far from State House. Yes. And I was praying.
I can imagine.
Yes.
Did any of the NIA officials do anything to any of you, as far as you?
As far, I can speak for myself. When you interrogate my colleagues, they can say, but for me personally, no. They didn't, I was not tortured, I was not maltreated. But I said to you, many security officers, the love, the respect that they have for me is because I'm involved in sports. So most of them, they take me as their star. It's why that they want to harm me, anything.
You said on Thursday you were taken to a court. Which court were you taken to? I
said Kanifing Magistrate Court.
Were you charged with a crime?
Yes, we are charged for sedition and false publication. They waited until nearly closing time. We left at the NIA around 3:30. So some minutes to 4, we arrived at the magistrate court. So I told one of the staff, please call point that we are here. And the security officer said, if you do so, you will regret it. Don't call anybody. But they did it so that after closing time, there will be no bail. They did it because that time we are not able to contact our lawyers. Our phones were seized. So, but afterwards, our guys from our respective newspapers had the news that we were there. But when we went to Kanifing Magistrate Court, the director of prosecution asked the magistrate, that we should be remanded. You know, imagine Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, up to Monday. So after Monday, we go to court. I think afterwards the matter was transferred afterwards at the High Court.
So when you went to Kanifing Magistrates Court and you were remanded, where were you remanded to?
Mile 2.
Mile 2.
Yes, and the place is very bad. the place congested, about 45 people. Again,
Remand wing.
yes,
Yeah.
when I went there again, thank God, for me, I was lucky to find people. They recognized me. And one of them said, don't worry about that. You will not sleep on the floor. I will give you my place. You come. I will fan you also because of the heat. I will fan you. I will give you my place. I will not allow you to sleep on the floor.
What was the condition in terms of the ventilation in the cell?
Very bad. I said a room with 45 people. The only thing that we were lucky, we were allowed, our family members, we are allowed to bring us food. Besides that, a room of 45 people, you cannot imagine many of them sleeping on the floor. So it was not healthy at all. It was not healthy at all. But you can take shower. You can take shower. When our families heard that we are there, they brought to us, soap and other things for toilet purposes to help us.
So you were at the Mal 2 remand wing from Thursday until Monday?
Yes.
Did you have access to lawyers at that time?
No, because it was at the prison. As I said, it was during closing hours. We are brought to Kanifing Court. So that time, we are not able to get to our lawyers. That time also, we don't have any mobile to call them. Only one of the ladies working at the courthouse, I said to her, please call my guys that at the point. I said the number. Call 991-7501 Sol Njai. Call him. So one of the security guards said, "If warn the lady. If you do so, you will be jailed." But nevertheless, they were informed and they came.
So you were eventually represented by lawyers.
Then afterwards,
On the Monday?
When the case was transferred to High Court, GPU hired Antuman Gay and LS Camara. Then after the case carried on, August 3rd.
Were you granted bail after that?
They increased the bail. They said each of us should bring 2 Gambian citizens. And every guarantor must have a lease, a house worth of $400,000. $400,000. But thank God we are lucky. Some people who are even not related to us, some of them, few of them, sympathized, came with their title deed to sign the bond. But my in-law, contractor Suleiman Gay, signed for me, and other friends came to show up with their title deed to sign. Others with their parents or their extended family came to sign the guarantee. We are lucky to be granted bail, but $400,000 to 2 guarantors.
Was your bail revoked at any point?
No.
Were you rearrested after you were granted bail?
No.
We've heard testimony that once you were granted bail, you were rearrested by the High Court judge.
By the High Court judge. This is war.
Exactly, and then sent again to the remand wing before you were again granted bail.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, yes.
What happened to the case?
The case?
Well, what happened to that case as well as the other case that was against you?
Well, for that case that you are talking about, we are jailed, all of us. 1 discharge, Sedekan, but other 6, we are jailed. We are supposed to serve 2 years. we are supposed also to pay $1 million each. But thank God, we were jailed August 6, 2009, and we were released. We were pardoned September 3rd during Ramadan by the president. You know, when we were jailed at Mile 2, from the court, we went to Mile 2. From the mile, when we went Mile 2, they asked us to change our dresses to get the prison uniform. We complied. Then after, they took us to Kanifing and to the Joswang prison. But when we were alarming, because when we said we are moving from Mile, from Mile 2 to go somewhere, we don't know the destination that time. We don't know whether we are going to be killed. We don't know whether we are going to Georgetown. Things were alarming, but we said, God help us.
So you didn't know you were going to Joshua prison?
No.
So when you finally arrived there, can you tell us a bit about the conditions of detention?
To be honest with you, Joshua is better than Mile 2. Joshua, in the rooms, although it's crowded too, you have a TV set to monitor the news. And they were strict also for timing to go out and the time also to enter and to be locked. But Joshua prison is better than Mile 2. The food is bad.
Regardless of which prison you're in?
The food is bad. You know, prison is not easy. Mm-hmm.
Were you allowed access to your family? Was your family able to visit you in
Yes,
Joshua?
only once. One day they asked us, normally they said the procedure, you must spend there 40 days or something like that. But we had opportunity, after I think 1 week or two, we are asked to invite our relatives or friends, 3 people, which I did.
So
But when they came also, they wanted to hear what you are telling them. Security will be around, to monitor what you are saying to them.
So after 27 days, from what we've heard, the testimonies, you were released. Can you tell us, because 2009 was a difficult year for you.
Yes, very.
Can you tell us how the multiple arrests and detention, what impact it had on you as well as your family?
Well, for me, because of the bad condition of the prison, because I was traumatized, all things together combined bring me heart disease. I had heart surgery twice, 2009 and 2010, because the beating of the heart was very slow. You know, heart, 1 minute, it runs 72 times, 1 minute, according to the doctors, 72 times. And my heart was very slow, about 32. So when I arrived in UK, the next day that I went to hospital, the doctor said, you are safe, because if you elapse to more hours, you'll die, because the heart beating is very slow. He asked me certain question. I said I was in prison. He said, no wonder. He said the condition, I said to him, the condition was very bad, the feeding was very bad. So I did the operation and get pacemaker to protect the heart.
And you said you had another surgery in 2019, is it, or
No,
2017?
Yeah, what happened is, pacemaker is a lifespan of 10 years, at least 9 to 10 years. So to replace it, and very, very costly too, very, very costly. But thank God.
So that's the medical impact that it had on you. What about the emotional and psychological impact that your ordeals had on you?
I said that I was traumatized because every day court. Sometimes I go to Carniving Court. One after, I should report to Banjul, either Magistrate Court or High Court. Sometimes in a day, I have 3 cases. But afterwards, I told my lawyers, you must talk to the magistrate and judges that in one go, I cannot meet, 3 cases in a day. They did it just to frustrate me. Yes, they did it to frustrate me.
What about your family? What kind of impact did this have on them?
They were worried. It was why that there was a time they said, it's high time I should retire. Because every day, I said to them, God is great. Esa Baji, God will one day and order will do justice. You know what happened? March 2nd, he arrested me. He too, March 2nd, 2010, he was arrested. Whoa, August, he remanded me. He too, August, he was remanded 2 months and then after jail for 2 years.
So that was 2009.
Yes.
What happened to you? You told us about the impact. You told us about the heart surgeries. What
Financial, lawyers, 5. Yes, lawyers, 5. Every case. Although they are very reasonable because of long relation that I have with them, all of them, I thank them. They have done a lot for me, but I will not say that they are my friends or they are close to me. I will not pay, no, but I have to try. Although I have support, but I too, what they all have said, you must act and also you will have help.
So the impact is really manifold. You experienced a lot of hardship.
Yes.
Physically, mentally, financially.
Health reason.
Exactly. Did you face any other risk, or was there at any point, and I'm specifically mentioning the impasse after the presidential election of 2016, did you face any additional risk to your security
yes.
as a journalist?
What happened was, it was January 18, the day Jammeh was supposed to leave office. In that morning, I got call from a source from the security. They said, Pap, do everything possible not to spend the night in your house. That time, I was with my driver, Ansu Jammeh, Seiba Keita, my daughter's son. Then after, I called somebody whom I take as everything, Sol Njai, I called him to come. That Sol Njai was working at the radio city, he was my boss. I called him to come. I said to him, well, I received a phone call that I should not spend the night. The man said to me, the authorities are ready for me. One, because I am doing promotion for the coalition. Any head of state recognizing them, I publish it in the point. So that will be the end of me. The coalition members, if also they will be at their home, the Senegalese ambassador, the Nigerian ambassador, all of them, Jammeh is ready to kill you, one by one, because ECOMIC will not come here, and something like that. Later on, I took it as a joke, but I call as witness the people that I cited, so that I will move the house immediately. And I told my family, if anybody asks me, since the Cup of Nations is on in Gabon, tell them that I'm in Gabon. I went to Hotel Baobab. I found there my overall boss of Reuters. He was the regional director. He was the one, even he invited me to go to the hotel to spend the night. But the following morning, he received a call or information that some people are coming to us at the hotel. He asked me to move. He went to Senegambia. Later, I was there for a few hours. I said to him, well, since ECOMIC is in town, I think we are safe. But for me, whenever you give me information, I will not hesitate to double check. But since two sources, I got them, I said to myself, I will not waste my time to move the house. And I called 3 witnesses, plus my wife, to tell them that I'm deserting the house and go somewhere. Yes, it's true.
But nothing happened to you in the end, is that
yes,
correct?
because ECOMIC was in town on the 19th. You know, ECOMIC came to, entered in the Gambia on the midnight of in the 18th.
So even at the last minute, you still had security concerns in relation to the previous
Well,
government?
after 1-2 days, after I was reassured that the ECOMIC is in town, I said, well, my boss, I said, the regional director of Reuters, is called Tim Cox. The following day, when I was with him in the hotel, he called the Senegalese cameraman, Cheikh Mane, and said to him, go to PAP, let's go now, and vacate the hotel. I'm going to pay the bills. So when we vacated, I said to myself, my source was right. Because this wild man, I only told him that I was warned to leave, but now he said he got another source that they can come to the hotel anytime. Yes, Baobab Hotel.
So, of course, ECOMIG came in and a new government was ushered. Considering that you've been a journalist for about 50 years, what are some of the recommendations that you have in relation to media sector reform, including press freedom?
All right, thank you very much, madam. Very happy. One, still yet, the draconian laws are not are still on. They are not abolished. Because I want to warn my colleagues to be aware that the lawyers are in. But the most aspect is not only the draconian law. You know, government, they can restrict you in other important issues, which is more important to us now as a publishers, for government to pay our debts in time. Because you cannot owe newspapers 2016 to date a lot of money, and they too, they survive. They should pay their staff, they should pay rent, and the day-to-day production, like The Point, we spend every day $20,000. And sometimes 2 or 3 days, no check. We are waiting. This cannot go alone. I thought when Barrow took over, there will be changes in terms of improving the press. You cannot improve the press without taking care of them. Many African countries, especially the Francophones, they give you some vision to sustain the press. We are appealing to government to be paid in time, to pay our arrears, so we can sustain our papers, our newspapers, to promote good governance, democracy. I want Trrc to take note seriously. If you want a vibrant press to continue in this Gambia, in this new Gambia, the government should do everything possible to pay in time their dues to newspapers owners. If not, things are deteriorating every day, every day, every day. They should pay in time our dues. Two, they should help also the media house to train more journalists at the university, because most of the media houses up to now, we don't have so qualified journalists. So we need their help in that aspect. So in a nutshell, to promote democracy, you cannot have the press. The press and the government are partners in development. So the tax on the media also is too high, very high, like Jammeh era. So all this should be reviewed. I'm appealing for TRC to make recommendation to the government. One, for our tax to be reviewed, to be reduced, because it's not profitable at all. We are educating the people. We are doing everything possible to make sure that people have been informed, have been educated, have been entertained. But with the cost of living that is materialized, this will not tell well. Because if you owe newspaper 6 months, 1 year without paying them, and you want a newspaper and you want to inform, it's not correct. Newspaper is the best information, the best source of information. All radio stations here in the Gambia, they are relying to the press. Without the newspapers, they cannot make their news. All of them, they use every day our newspaper. Some of them, even they will not have the courtesy to tap their sources to say that this paper has done this or something like that. So all these things combined, I'm appealing to TRC chairman with your team to make a recommendation for the press in the Gambia to be vibrant. We need your immediate intervention for the press to survive, for the press to continue its mission. The parastatals, government departments, whenever we send them bill, in 1 week time to settle it. If not, papers, there will be no newspaper in the Gambia, and it will be very sad, because with the new democracy, we think the paper has a big role to play. But now we are crawling, we are dying. So please, Chairman Sise, with your colleague, make an urgent recommendation for the development of press freedom on that aspect. The other two is about TRC. Glad for your good job, well done. What needs to be done about the local languages? Most of the people here in the Gambia, 70% are illiterate, and they want to follow the TRC. They make complaint many times. They come to me, many people, they came to me, I said, what is happening? They are TRC. We don't know anything about it. English. So I think you will have a meeting, Chairman, with your team, with JRTS, with QTV, to see how best you can educate the public in local languages. In a nutshell, I would like to thank you very much for the warm welcome that you have done for me. In a nutshell, I would like to thank you very much for the good job, well done, for the exposure that you have done about the abuse of human rights, and those who are abusing human rights. Really, I'm not dictating you, but those people should go on leave for the time being, and you continue your good job, because those killers and others, they cannot be around. I'm very sorry. Thank you very much.
Mr. Saine, thank you very much for that. That sounded a bit like your final statement.
Yes.
However, I will hand over to the chairman for questions for the commissioners. And
Yes.
if there's anything additional you'd like to add, I'm sure you can do so after. Thank you for answering my questions.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Thank you very much, Council, and thank you very much, Mr. Saine. The points that you raised are very well noted, and it certainly would help us in making our recommendations and the suggestions that we will be making to the government. I have just one quick question. how was your security during the impasse? Were you okay during that period, or were you threatened during the impasse?
Well, during the impasse, that time, I don't have free mind because it was not easy at all. You remember on the 17th, 18th, even the banks here in the Gambia, they closed because of security reasons. Nobody was safe, and we were praying that time for peace and tranquility of the country. It was that time more than 60,000 people fled the country because of insecurity. So for me, that time a government official told me, be ready anytime that the government officials will ask you the source of your publication of countries who recognize President Barrow, because they might ask you, where do you get the letters? And I told that person, I will not reveal the names or who give me the letters, or I will not tell you the sources, because at that time the government was worried for countries like China, Russia, big countries who recognize the coalition government. So really, in reality, that time I have so many worries about my life and also of my staff.
Thank you very much indeed. Any questions from commissioners? Bishop, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Papsin, during your narrative, you did mention that NIA is not far from State House. Are you suggesting that the junglers came from State House?
Yes, of course. The junglers are working for Jammeh 24 hours. So when we had some noises, we said they are coming. And that time is rare, that time after hours, to get frequent traffic in our area. So we were worried. We were worried at that time. And it is a fact that Jammeh had a team, and if you go further, there are some junglers arrested up to now, about 2 years now. But it's a fact that he eliminated even the lawyers. They were targeted because there are some cases, if a lawyer is not lucky, he or she could be eliminated, because at the time of Jammeh, even when you are a lawyer, you want to protect your career, your life, because there are certain cases you will not take it. As I said to you earlier in '95, when I was first arrested, the current Chief Justice, Asad Jallo, who was that time ordinary lawyer, and that time was his first case that he was taking when I was arrested. He was warned by people not to take the case because he could be hammered by the junglers. It's a fact.
Thank you very much, Imam Jallo.
Any question?
Yes, Mr. Saine. A question here. Well, before the question, I would first of all like to congratulate your team, all the journalists in this country. You played a very vital role in getting Jammeh out of this country. The parts you played, both nationally and internationally, are worthy of praise. Those of you who live outside and are trying to get support for you have done their very best. And those of you who have stayed and stuck out your lives for the well-being of this country, you deserve a very big praise. I have one question, and the question is, I'm very much alarmed by the fact that all the journalists who came here seem to show that they didn't have adequate support from either the press union or other sources, except for private sources that people are helping them. Don't you think it wise from now on to start a fund that will help journalists who find themselves into trouble? And this will include, in fact, I will call it a levy for every Gambian, because you are doing service to every Gambian and you are protecting every Gambian. So I think we should start something now. Get a fund that will service and assist journalists who find themselves into trouble. Do you think this is visible?
Very good. I welcome that idea. It was why I said without money, we cannot continue our mission. And our mission is to inform, to educate the public. It was that angle. I said government should step in to pay us in time without delay our areas, our current debts, so that we can survive or continue our struggle. Because we did late payment of 6 months, 1 year. It's not done at all. If we want to vibrant print, we need money, we need to survive. It was why I said I'm appealing to the chairman of Trrc and his committee members to write to government to show them the importance of the press without wasting time.
I think it's not just what they owe you. I think every Gambian owes you something.
Yes.
I think you must find a way of creating the opportunity to create a group that will work for you and provide funds for you, nationally, both nationally and internationally.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. If there are no more, Imam C, you have the floor, please.
Mr. Saine.
Wow.
mooy dem le maa ngi leen a sargal ba léegi yéen journalistes yi.
I want to thank you, the journalists,
depuis bi ngeen commencé wax fii nii.
since you started making statements here. Each one that
foog
comes,
ne moo gën a rafet xel moo gën a bugg a liggéeyam bi.
you think that is the most intelligent,
seen liggéey bi gis ngeen
the
ci
most
coono bu ne.
you've seen all
waaye
kinds of
mosu
suffering,
leen ko bàyyi.
No.
but you've never
parce que
left it,
ñaari weer yu ne aris ñetti weer yu ne ñu aris la.
because for every 2
te
or
li
3
ngay liggéey
months,
tagut nga bàyyi.
you are arrested,
yaa ngi cee gën a ñeme bis bu ne.
but that did not make
loolu
you
moom
to quit.
kontaan nañ ci loolu trop.
That has made us happy.
sagal nañ leen ci te wax dëgg yàlla seen
We
liggéey
thank you
bugg ngeen ko te
for that.
buggante ngeen itam.
Truly, you love your
parce
job,
que ni ngeen ay génnee fii dem ci gannaaw ci bitim réew yéen a ngeen ay jàppalante foofu de dimbalante.
how you leave Gambia,
loolu moom ku bugg
traveling
liggéeyam rek moo ko mun.
abroad, and how you
liggéeyam rek moo koy
cooperate
nangu.
shows that
waaye sa njaboot
you are people who
coono
love
bu
the
ne
job.
gis ngeen ko yéen journaliste li ku ci wax nga
As,
fi ay wax yu métti.
Family men
gis nga lu
and
métti
women,
gis nga lu ne waaye takkul
you've
ngeen
seen
bàyyi
all
seen liggéey
kinds
bi.
of suffering,
ndimbal bi nga wax ni loolu moom wax dëgg yàlla baax na ci yéen trop.
and the
loolu moom bu
assistance
ngeen
you
ko
are
amee
talking about,
da ngeen
truly,
a gën a
that
mën a
is good
liggéey
for
parce que
you,
mbir yu bëri soo gisee nubuut yëpp gannaaw yàlla ak yéen la.
because many of the things that are
kontaan nañ ci,
not
yéen a
been
ngi
hidden
ci
is
ñaanal
as a
leen
result
sargal.
of you.
Amin.
Pray to God for you.
Chairman, before I leave, I would like to thank very much my family for the support that they have all along, because whenever I have pressure, they have pressure. And it was not easy at all during the 22 years era. I would like to also thank my staff, my dedicated staff, for the job well done, because it was not easy at all, because even to rent a house, people will question you. You are a journalist? You said, oh, we don't have. Because of what? That time they were afraid to accommodate journalists. So now things have improved. I would like to thank my family members, my wife, my children, also our staff for the dedicated job, and all friends and relatives. Thank you very much.
Thank you again very much, indeed, for a very detailed and informative testimony, Mr. Saine. And we wish you all the best on the health issues.
Thank you very much.
Thank you again very much for
you.
that. We would call it a day, call it a week, and you all have a very restful weekend, and we'll see you Monday morning, sharp 10 o'clock. Thank you.
Thank you.
Meeting is adjourned.
You finish with me? Oh, thank you. My daughter, thank you.